What's going on, everybody? It's me, Shane. I'm here to give you the Heels Episode 7 review. Not really a recap, but a review and analysis. Today's episode is called The Big Bad Fish Man. But if you're new here, please remember to give me a like, a comment, and a subscribe. I definitely appreciate any and everything that you all do, especially showing up here. So, let's get right down to it. Usually, these episodes are based off of some type of wrestling terminology, and I think today's episode's title is based off of the Fishman who was a wrestler. He passed away in 2017. He was born in 1951. He's a luchador. He has several sons who are masked wrestlers. Actually, if I I pulled away off that screen, but yeah, I think this might have been like a dedication to him. Could be, it could be signaling that people have double lives, or even could be signaling, you know, when he retired from wrestling, he got demasked. So maybe that's a thing because Jack is talking about giving up the belt, having something new for the Dome. The opening for this was a drive between Jack and his father Tom. They got to get to a meeting and everything. And Tom doesn't like the fact that other people are trying to handle meetings, and something that clicked with me was he tells Tom tells Jack to pull over so they can pee, and Jack's like, why don't you wait till we get someone? He's like, I'm not too good enough that I can't pee on the side of the road, which is pretty interesting. And they have a conversation about Ace. Tom doesn't want Ace getting involved from the wrestling, just like the both of them. He says he can be the next. You know, Brett Favre or Tom Brady. I forget which quarterback he used, but he said that's who Ace could be. And even back then, Jack was desperate to save what his father made with his own two hands, to make sure none of it went to waste. Tom is saying that the wrestling business ebbs and flows, and Jack is frustrated, saying, "Well, right now we need something to flow, or we need more talent, we need fresh, bright faces and things of that nature." And Tom flat out says, "You beat me and pin me 1, 2, 3, then yeah, you get to do it." So he wants to fight his son. Jack, of course, doesn't want to fight his dad. They're doing a bit of wrestling here and there, and Jack's just exasperated, but he doesn't want to fight his father. And Tom says, "Don't come from my shit, boy." That is an important line because it appears one more time in this show. Um, what are some revelations? Well, the FDW, or this promotion is called Dystopia. Dystopia is super hardcore. It reminds me of ECW. Charlie Gully is literally supposed to be Paul Heyman. Dude is, as much as I like Paul Heyman, I don't know if I like I think the character Paul Heyman. He is an interesting dude when you hear about the stories about people he's lied to and screwed over, but also some of the people who he's helped. I get that same feeling from Charles Gully. Um, Dystopia plays a prank on DWL. They put up posters that are double sided. It's some really good fancy cardboard that only if you're rich you're gonna use that type of stuff to plaster up stuff all over the DWO Dome, which features all their wrestlers talking about, oh, they're gonna wrestle at our show. It's a deep prank. It is a deep prank, and while everybody wants to go and fight back, Jack more or less cuts a promo to his guys and just says, "No, we got to focus on what's ahead of us." Most people turn around. Most people do a crawdad, and Apocalypse has been there long enough that he knows what a crawdad is. And he tells them. Now, I didn't write down what the acronym stood for each letter, but basically, a crawdad is someone leaves, they go to another promotion, and they come back before dusk has even. So it's like, I think it's like out by dawn, in by dusk. It's just yeah. And Rooster has already left. Apocalypse doesn't want to get revenge because he's like, Rooster's first match is coming up. Still cares about his brother, but Rooster just flipped off Jack in the DWL. Um, And we get the feeling, we don't get the feeling, we get the picture that Jack has always tried to protect his brother Ace, but I will get more into that later. Let's go through these characters. Gully, Charles Gully. He he hates Jack with an infernal passion. Probably because Jack shit talked him one time. I don't remember when, but yeah, shit. He hates Jack, and now he's saying, "Well, Bill is my enemy now because Bill is with them." He's, he feels the pressure because if they do well at the state fair, they're gonna be way better than Dystopia, which prompted the prank. Um, Interesting enough, we get some quick backstory from this guy because he talks about Rule 34. He shows Ace Rule 34. His brother Bo and him. You guys know what Rule 34 is, right? Rule 34 is if anything exists on the internet, there is images of it having sex or being sexualized. That's Rule 34. Well, not only did he show him that, apparently Gully was sexually assaulted by a priest when he was younger. Apparently he's Canadian, but he was sexually assaulted when he was young. He comes from money. He has a daughter. Has a very interesting relationship with his daughter because he lets her drink. But whatever. Dude lives in a mansion. And I wrote this here. Gully is way too flashy for me. So definitely loud and boisterous and a liar and cuts can cut words just like Paul Heyman. But dude is unbelievably flashy, and he's gonna want to. I have a feeling he's gonna turn up the heat at the state fair on next week's last episode, which will be episode 8. You'll find out why he wants to do it as I get through this. Well, you get punched in the face. Actually, while I'm still going through here, because I love the progression I got here. Uh, he wants Ace bad enough that he tells him stick around, make an informed decision. He even told him that it was just a prank. He wanted to market him as the honest white knight champion because when Ace shows up to the party, he says, "I'm here to kick your ass for what you did." Ends up defusing the situation. Very Paul Heyman. Very, very Paul Heyman. And he said that Rooster was just the bait. Ace is the fish. Rooster won the belt tonight, and he planned on doing a pop-up show just to compete with the DWL and give Ace the belt. Wow. Let's go back over here to the Ace thing. The Rule 34 is probably what sold Ace on it. Ace is already tired of the BS because he's going back and early on, Jack is having a conversation with him, Bill, and Willie, and it's like Jack wants to drop this belt. And Ace like, "Well, give it to me." Why give it to Bill? Because it's the same old crap all the time. He deserves it. Even if he's heel, he deserves it. And essentially in this episode, it's weird. He wants to call and FaceTime Crystal when he's on his way there, but he doesn't do it. But he does it the next day when he's gonna debut for the FDW. He says fuck Jack, fuck DWL. He wants Crystal to come with him, not as his valet, but as true partners. It's very obvious that the being screwed over the belt has rolled downhill, and it begs the question if this kid is ever gonna grow up because I don't see it. I will give you this: he's loyal and loyal to the point where he didn't go out when his cue came for him to come out and do his promo and say "F the DWL" because of what he said about because what Gully said he was gonna do to Rooster. And speaking on Crystal, Crystal loves the DWL. She apologized to Jack. She wanted to do it at the christening, but she just couldn't get the nerve. She's shaky and in tears. She met and talked with Stacy. They never really talked all that much, but this is one of the few occasions that they have. And she says all this heartfelt stuff and gives Jack this letter, and Jack just goes, he basically says, "All right, whatever," and walks back in after he went for his run. Jack is not looking like a good guy in this. She also, because the DWO has to have tryouts because they are replace Rooster with somebody. And she even tries out. Bobby even tells her, "You're great, don't worry about it." She tries out, she's doing great. Matter of fact, she had a moment with Wild Bill where he's like, "Well, scoop up, slam." He's like, "All right, we didn't get out of my ring." No, her Haranas his ass on the ground. Pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Um, Unfortunately, Willie had to drive over and tell her that she didn't get the job. And Willie really wanted her in because she can wrestle very, very well, which leads us into this part. She still hasn't gotten over whatever is going, whatever her feelings are with the Wild Bill situation. Will even brings it up again in this episode to Jack. Like, so you won't use Crystal because you're protecting your brother. I wish you had those same feelings towards me when it comes to Wild Bill. You know, which Jack, of course, says, well, you're a rational person. You don't do irrational things. I don't have to protect you. Yeah, but we can see the surmounting pressure because Willie's very abusive to her daughter. Very, very, very abusive. And it is just sickening. Um, I really, she gets a drink and she's yelling at her because she didn't clean up her breakfast stuff, but she was getting picked up from her. She had to set a reminder, and she got picked up from her from school by her father. She's a teenager; those things happen, but she basically calls her a terrible daughter because she forgets that. And when Ted, her husband, when he tries to talk to her, he's like, "Look, I know you have a past. I have a past. You had a life. Whatever has or hadn't happened with Bill, I can tell it's affecting you. You can always leave the DWL." Her thing is she doesn't want to leave because they're on the cusp of doing something great. It's just it's sad. She's drinking more and she basically is breaking down. She didn't want to talk and she's walking out crying because Ted is trying to get her to communicate. I'll be straight up with you. Ted, dude, you're way too good for me talking to Ted as if he's a real person, but Ted is way too good for her. And whatever she asks, he does. She asked to let Bill stay, he let him stay. She said kick him out without telling him why, he kicked him out. Something's gonna have to give, and something probably will give. Hopefully she makes the right decision and opens up to her husband. Speaking about husband issues, Stacy has a fight with Jack over the issues with Ace because she's like, all right, well he's gonna leave GWO, let him leave. Things are going badly, especially with Thomas because Thomas is fighting at school now, and he thinks that wrestling is real, and that if you're a bad person wrestling, you're actually a bad person because he saw his father punch his uncle, his beloved uncle. She doesn't like people being naturally cruel. She hated the fact that people were throwing tissues at Ace, which then leads to an awkward situation where she finds some extra tissues in her home. She knows she didn't bring them. She knows she didn't buy them, which thankfully Thomas opened up to her about it. I'll get to Thomas in a moment, but going over things with her manager, she finds out, Jack ordered a bunch of tissues. He orchestrated the tissue throwing, and yeah, it's she might leave him next episode. Funny enough, she gets a singing gig because the car selling preacher man has been talking her up to a bunch of his buddies. She's going to sing at a rodeo that's live taped. So she has a good opportunity coming for her, and I think Stacy might end up being a country western star. I got a feeling about that one. But she might leave Jack, and Jack needs to be careful about that. Yeah, because yeah, he only had one person leave him. It's not. He almost had two people get ready to leave him. He's gonna go ahead and try to go for triple cherries. Bobby, well, little small things. Bobby likes Crystal. Apocalypse knows he's telling you need to man up. Tell her because a woman like that doesn't stay single for long. Apocalypse is also a very intelligent man because he had to let I can't remember the name of the Cuban gentleman. He had to let him know you hate the government so much, but you realize when you were pouring on food stamps and stuff like that come from people paying taxes and it's given out by the government. So very eloquent. I love Jack Harris. Wish they would just tell us his real name, but I like Jack Harris, and he's very intelligent, very eloquent character, a very virtuous character, a very loyal character. I enjoy him. He is one of the few non-assholes in this series. Jack. Let's talk about Jack. He doesn't seem like a good guy, does he? Uh, it seems as if he's always had this obsession with saving the thing that his dad made, because I guess he doesn't want it all be for nothing. He doesn't want his mother staying at home raising them be for nothing. He doesn't want everything to crumble, and at the same time, he feels a need to protect Ace. I want to get to the root of why he feels this overwhelming need to protect his younger brother. It's troubling and quite compelling. I mean, he's at the point where he's willing to take input on how the state fair is going to go, but is the last decision is going to come down to what he believes. But and that's really what most promotions probably should do. A collective think tank, then pick the best thing and sculpt it to how you, the person in charge, wants to go. Uh, but yeah, he's messing up. He's already messed up with his brother. His coldness towards Crystal. He thanks her at the end for telling him, what's going on with his brother. But man, he is royally screwing up. Matter of fact, the thing I was going to tell you about with Gully, Jack goes down to the FWL, the FWD, the dystopia place. When dude's baiting for his brother to come out, Jack comes out, punches him, straddles him, flips him over, and punches him again, and gets up and says, "Don't come for my shit, boy. Don't come for his people. Don't poach his people." Of course, we do get that scary line where Gully says, "Get that motherfucker." And in the preview, Jack has to dodge a beer bottle. He's gonna make it out, I know it, but wow, wow, just wow. That's all I can say is wow. Something's got to give, and eventually, instead of him being a macho man like his damn dad was, he needs to go ahead and open up about how he's feeling about that situation with his wife, at least. At least. I find it funny that Rooster said that, you got one messed up family, which, Rooster is a dumbass. I get, I get being overlooked, having to deal with racism, and then just generally being overlooked because he's tired of how he's being treated. But you fell for the sweet words of a devil who doesn't really care about you. He's just using you to get what he really wants, which is the downfall of a guy he doesn't like. It's a shame. And my question is, why didn't Rooster just ever leave Georgia? As opposed, yeah, you're down in Jacksonville, Florida, which is apparently a hop, skip, and a drive away from Duffy. Why didn't you just go up north? Why didn't you wrestle at any other independent place and possibly get seen and possibly get a belt? You're in the deep south, boy. If it's not Jack and Tom that aren't holding you back, at some point in time you gotta blame yourself. And I really hope Ace told him what that asshole said, because now we're getting flashes of him saying, "Well, they want to come attack you. Let's go and mess up their state fair." Really? Really? Rooster's basically dead. He's dead to me in the show. He's dead to me. He's gonna eventually come crawling back, but he's dead to me. Screw. Let's talk about where. Well, Bill is still Bill. He's a dick. That's all he is. Bill is Bill. He showed up with little twin, little pigtails to do the little tryout. Bill is Bill. Uh, Poor little Thomas feels broken. Like, I'm glad he opened to his mom. To me, I see nothing wrong with what he did to the bullies, because he had these bullies that push him because he's a third grader and they're taking their time drinking water. He has a hall pass, and they told him to get fucked. He's like, "Say it again, I'm gonna punch you in the face." Say it again, he got punched in the face. This is one of the occasions I agree with Jack. Jack went to school, went to high school, or sorry, went to school with some assholes. They are just asshole kids. Stacy, with an eye, needs to chill and ease up a bit. Granted, Thomas is a good enough kid to open up to his mom and say, "I feel broken," kind of like, Grandpa Tom did. I think he's going to be okay. He ain't going to be okay if his parents get separated for a little bit, but I think he'll be okay. So, are they going to ruin the fair? More than likely. Is Stacy going to leave? That's a hard maybe. And is Jack gonna get his shit together? He needs to. He needs to open up and let go. Let go of his brother. Let go of your dad. Let go of anything that has emotional baggage on him. As a matter of fact, one of probably the most relatable scenes is he is in his driveway. He's listening to his messages. First message is about the insurance for the state fair for all his people. Second thing is his boss calling saying, "Hey, I got a golf thing I'm doing all weekend, jackass, and another guy is out sick. I'm gonna need you to do, cover shifts and do double shifts. Call me, well, no, text me." And then Bill's calling him, leaves a message about what some ideas he has for the last match, and just he hangs up from his voice message and he screams. He screams loudly. This is happening simultaneously with Willie drinking her problems away. Yeah. Uh, Tom Spade did say that wrestling ebbs and flows. This is definitely it's interesting. This is definitely an ebbing moment, not a flowing. It's definitely an ebb because they have lost a wrestler, but Jack seems like he's going to lose his brother, lose his wife. If he messes around, he's going to lose his son. Apparently, he doesn't pay the mainstays of the DWL either. So those people must really love him, must really be loyal. Man, it is fairly sad what's going on. Last week is the last episode for this season. I really hope they don't take too long giving us another season. I truly hope that we can get season 2, episode 1. Give it to me around the holidays, please. I love this show. Eight episodes, just 8 episodes, man. But yeah, overall, I don't even think I give these. I don't even think I give these episodes number ratings. It's kind of hard to rate a show where its driving force is not just how accurate it is with the sport and what goes on behind the scenes. What's great about it is the characters. Just like I did a review on an anime called Jobless Reincarnation. It's a video right before this one, if you're interested. And these shows that have an emphasis on characters, personalities, and characters' development and how they interact with one another and how they see themselves and how they change. Really good stuff. And all of that is wrapped up in a nice, wonderful wrestling shell. So, as always, guys, tell me what you thought of the episode. Do you think Stacy's going to leave? Do you think Ace eventually is going to leave? Who do you think is going to beat Jack for the belt? I kind of want Crystal to jump in and shake some things up. They need to have female wrestlers. Even Debbie says, why don't we have any female wrestlers here? Kind of makes no sense. No one cares about valets anymore. Might as well just have managers. As always, please give me a like. Hit up that comment section. Subscribe if you aren't subscribed. And if you are subscribed, hit the notification bell. Be notified of more videos like this. We got one more episode, and I am waiting on bated breath. Please share the video so others can see what kind of discussions we're having. Discussing heels. Man, it does kind of seem like a lot of heels are in this show, but I hope we get more faces other than Apocalypse and Thomas and Stacy and Bobby Pins. So, as always, guys, I deeply appreciate you. Please, be good, be blessed. Wash your hands, wear a mask. Be safe out there. Be good to yourself and be good to others. Either way, don't be a jerk, and I will definitely see you next time.